Hello everyone. I am very excited to share the first live interview from our podcast series Beyond the Talks. Today I have with me Mr. Robin Basnet, who is a tourism entrepreneur and a sustainable development expert all the way from Sikkim. This is the story of a boy who leaves his little town Yangang in South Sikkim, spends the next 14 years in UK, hones his skills, comes back and tries to do something for his hometown. A very special thanks to Royal Sorovar Portico for giving us this venue for the interview. And thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen. We'll surely bring in a lot more interesting stories to share with you all. But don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Without further ado, it's me and Robin Basnet. So, Robin, tell me a little bit about yourself. Though I know you on a personal level as well, but from what I understand, spending 14 years in UK for a small town boy, going there working, and then finally leaving a high-paying job, and then coming back and connecting to your roots again. What motivates a person to do something like that?
Thank you. This has been a very common question after I left UK and came back to Sikkim, and my answer has remained constant. Primarily, there was two motivations. One, my devotion towards my parents, because my parents couldn't or wouldn't want to move to UK. So I had to be with them, and as a duty as a child, I came back. That was one of the reasons. And equally important, the other one was, my purpose in life. So I really, I had thought over for a few years, and I really wanted to come back and do something, because when I lived in the UK for a long time, I went there when I was very young. And when I lived there for a long time, over a decade when I spent there, then I somehow started believing that I did not have any identity, and, people, when you see for their identity, they have worked, heavens, they have put heavens and hell together just to get that identity. So I thought, why not come back to my place? And I could see the scene there that, a place like Sikkim has a lot to offer. And, and since I was educated in tourism, I thought I had a lot to give to my place and my people. And I thought I could make a decent living in Sikkim as well. So that was the reason I came back and started.
Pursuing tourism as a career, was it something that you had always envisioned to do, or was it something that happened over time, maybe while you were doing your 10th or the 12th? So was it always on the back of your mind that you're going to pursue tourism, and then getting that sort of an experience of working in the UK and then finally coming back and still being in that space,
No, tourism was not part of what I had planned. In fact, at those times, when I was in schooling period, there was no vision, but what next? At least for me, there was no career guidance, and being a very average student, I just wanted something that was light, that was not heavy on my brains. So I thought, tourism was a perfect subject then. It was easy from what I gathered information. So, I chose the easy route. And, by God's grace, it has been something that has been a blessing for me.
So when was that moment in time when you really thought that, I have to be serious about this, because now you have already spent that many years in this space, like you said, initially when you thought you were not very serious, maybe you wanted to go to the UK, get that sort of an experience in tourism, but then was there some experience in life when you really thought that, no, this is something that I would like to do for the rest of your life?
Yeah. So when I started working, I was doing all the odd jobs, dishwashing, those kind of jobs, just to fund my studies. So that is when I thought, okay, why don't I take it seriously? And before I enrolled to a prestigious university, obviously the fees were very high. So I thought this should be a career. This is something I want to take forward. So that is when I thought I should take this forward as a career.
You just mentioned that you pretty much self-funded your education as well.
Yeah.
Again, was it something that was part of your career decision before going there? Did you think that you will possibly have to self-fund your education?
I knew that. Yeah, I knew that. Because I don't come from a very affluent family, and at that point of time, it was very obvious that we will be doing self-funding. Before I went there, I was made aware that I'll be doing self-funding. There was a lot of hard work, odd hours of working period, and we did that.
Working as a dishwasher is something that I don't think how many of us can actually think of, I don't think there will be a lot of young kids who would be open to that sort of a job. But is it something that I have not worked in the UK, I've not been there, but I definitely know that people are very open to there is something called dignity to job. Whatever kind of a job you take up, there is respect to it. That is something that I miss in India. That is something I miss, especially in a small place like Sikkim and Darjeeling, or even this place. Was it some sort of a contrasting difference after you came back, having spent 14 years in the UK, and then finally coming back and seeing this sort of a contrasty difference in the society? Did you experience something like that after coming back? Did it take some time for you to embrace the new place, the new space, the new society?
No, when I started working, first of all, it was difficult to get even the odd jobs because of the spoken English and the opportunities. So just to get that odd job was a challenge at one point. But finally, when you landed up in that job, and the amount of pay, the basic minimum wage that they give, which is very dignified, and the amount of money coming in, and then funding your studies and your stay and your food, when you see that motivation, I think it encouraged people like me quite a lot as well. And I never even got a chance to think, why should we not do an odd job? Even now, at this day and age, I have no difficulty. We have, even my wife, for that matter, being an engineer, but she carried a few businesses where she really worked, tirelessly. And that was something that, we discussed quite a few times, and we want to encourage, we really want to motivate youngsters that, we should really take the dignity of labor seriously. And there's nothing called odd jobs, as long as it's, helping you somehow, because one of the finest examples was one of the hotels where I worked, Holiday Inn. And the owner's daughter used to, do housekeeping, and I saw her doing intern for 1 year. Precisely for 1 year. And after about 8 months, I found out that she was the, daughter of the owner of the hotel who owns a chain of hotels. So if they can do it, what stops our people and our youngsters from doing it?
So then once you came back, how did you start? I'm sure it was starting something afresh from a clean slate. How did you start? What was your idea? I mean, do you see now, I think it's been 10 years now you've been living here. So in retrospect, when you look back at the years gone, are you happy with what you have achieved? Do you think things could have been better? How did you tell me a little bit about the journey that you have, basically undertaken in the last 10 years after coming back?
So when I came back, I had a clear mind that, I wanted to work in this space, the tourism and hospitality industry. Where do we start? So that was the question. Obviously, before I came back, I had a few investments. We wanted to do something with the hospitality industry, build a hotel, start something. But when I came back, the first thing that I did was with the students. We wanted to do a student educational trip. And the whole motive of doing that was, the complex issues that we have in the hills, So we wanted to inculcate that within the kids, that, they should be aware that they come from such a beautiful place, and they should be as confident as students from the UK or US. So that was the whole idea. And we wanted to take them around Sikkim to the rural areas and see and feel how amazing our place is. And when they go abroad for their studies, when they go outside the state, we wanted to inculcate that within them, that they should be as confident as other kids. So I started with that, and that became like it was a success at that point of time. We did a few educational tours with all the good schools. It really helped me as well to understand the place and the people, and I'm sure it helped the people because I've been meeting those students even now. And that is how I started, and then we started slowly working on the rural tourism scene of the state, and we've done over a decade now. We've been consistently doing a lot of bringing some changes for that matter, and we've come a long way, definitely.
What do you think about the youth per se in Sikkim? I mean, entrepreneurship is something that I feel we live in a great time right now. India has, I think, a huge population that is under 30s and under 35. Same with Sikkim, same with Darjeeling. I feel there is a huge potential, but in general, I'm not seeing a lot of entrepreneurs coming up from these places. A lot of youth really, I think, depend on maybe some sort of possibly banking on politics to join political party, and and then you have a lot of youth that is really trying to get into government jobs. So is it okay, is it normal? Or I'm asking you because you obviously have you have something to compare with, right? You're somebody who has worked outside, lived outside. So what do you see, why do you see this trend is there in the state?
I think this has been a very traditional way of thinking, and our parents, for that matter, they want to secure the future of their kids. And it is not only in Sikkim, but the entire country, for that matter, that a government job is considered very secure. And you are right in saying that a lot of youths want to enter politics, just to without a vision as well. I've seen, because I had done a few trainings with the youths who wanted to do with the rural youths, and in a classroom full of youths, when I asked them what is their future, what is their what do they aspire to become, so 80% or 85% aspire to be a politician. And when I asked them, what is your vision? You want to be a politician, but what, after being a politician, what is the vision? What do you want to do? And they had no answer, so that was very alarming as well. So, when you talk about entrepreneurship, or when you talk about politics, I see that, at least now, at this day and age, a lot of entrepreneurs from Sikkim and from the hills are doing. There are a few entrepreneurs, handpicked entrepreneurs, who are starting to do something amazing. But there are only a handful. So we want, professional people, and especially, what I see is there's no environment in the hills, not just Sikkim, Darjeeling, Kalimpong. I see there's no professional environment wherein people like us, for that matter, we spoke about this before as well. When you move back from Bangalore to, to this place, and when I moved from UK, I have a feeling that anyone who's lived abroad or outside the state, for that matter, within the country as well, we have a heart. We want to come back and contribute to the place. But, it's very disappointing that when you come back, there's no support system, there's no environment, and, that was lacking then. Slowly things have been changing, and I'm sure we could be one of the torch bearers wherein, we can make that environment wherein people, all our assets, all our think tanks can come back and start contributing. Because I have a good number of friends who are professionals now. They really want to come back and start doing something, but they don't see the scope. But now, slowly, when I see, even Beyond Crimson doing such an amazing job here, and now you've started to get jobs. So I see that, at least professionalism is starting to get admired, and we're starting to make a living out of it. So I'm hopeful that, in the future, youths can be serious at their, taking up a career apart from, government jobs and politics, and become a professional.
So Robin, we did touch upon politics a bit, We do understand that I think in a small place like Darjeeling and Sikkim, politics does play a very important part. You have moments in time when that really touches upon everyone here. So, but for a fact, I also know that you were also part of the same space. You were a part of some political party here. What was your experience? What inspired you to join politics, and what has been your experience?
Yeah, that's nice question. Not only nice, but very important question as well, because like you explained, politics is part of the hills. In a small place like Sikkim, Darjeeling, every cup of tea that we drink, there's politics involved in that, and we can't avoid that. And it's fair enough as well, because everything that we do or aspire to do, politics will be involved, and it's a very important. I don't know if people have realized that it's a very, very important matter that everyone should be involved. Every kid should be understand the importance of politics, and they should dive in very deep into politics, not just for the sake of doing it, but important to understand what politics is and what it stands for. So that was one of the reasons I had also joined politics, because if you want to bring about the change, then somewhere you'll have to step into it. So that was one of the reasons there was no self-vested interest for sure, because I know that what I wanted to do with politics was to bring about that change. I didn't aspire to be a leader myself. I didn't aspire to, kind of rule the people. That was not the motive. I wanted to help, through politics, bring about a change in the policy. There's a lot of policies that needs changing, and that was one of the reasons that, I had joined politics, and I feel that politics should somewhere ease people's lives and make their lives. I've always said that let's make our lives better. Let's make Sikkim a better place to live and work, and only politics can do that. So that was one of the reasons I joined politics. Yeah.
Very interesting take on that, Robin, because when you say that when you say that in a place like Sikkim, when vast majority of population really wouldn't say depend, but they are involved in politics. That means they are also involved in the decision making policy of the government. But when I see a place like Sikkim, one of the biggest problems right now is obviously the limited scope of industries coming and setting up. You will obviously not have, I think, billion-dollar IT companies coming and setting themselves up here and making the base, which you would see possibly in Karnataka, Hyderabad, and other places. Then what do, right? You have the natural resources which is abundantly available in Sikkim, right? That only means that you could promote Sikkim as an amazing tourist destination. But then again, when we see the data, when we look at what really the state has done, I mean, I wouldn't say the state hasn't done things. I'm sure. Look, even I've just moved back from Bangalore here, so I'm also getting to know the place and things like that. But then when I see, the kind of tourist that's visiting Sikkim, you pretty much have the same kind of people that have been frequenting the state for the last 30-35 years. You also don't see a lot of new tourist destinations coming up. It's the same North Sikkim, and then the same circuit. I mean, Gangtok. People go to Gangtok, then go to North, and then they come back to Gangtok. And then the other problem is with the highway, the NH10, which every year, it goes without saying that every year there will be, certain days in a month or months or weeks, the roads are blocked, So then nobody is visiting Gangtok, or nobody is going to North, and when tourists are not going to these places, there are no tourists in the state, So how do you justify this kind of things happening? Because when I see that people are so involved in politics, they are also very conscious. They are also very conscious. They also have the right to ask questions to the government that why why haven't we really done something to fix at least a basic thing like the accessibility to the state,
Yeah, so like when you asked the question, you answered it yourself as well. Because of the geography of Sikkim, not many big companies are going to come to Sikkim. So you're right in saying that agriculture predominantly was, the breadwinner in the past, but now slowly it is shifting, and tourism has taken over. So, I've been suggesting this for quite some time. I think, one of the primary objectives should be to declare tourism as a priority industry, increase the budget from the center, and with that money, maybe a lot of things could be done. That is one thing that we could do. And, once you prioritize a certain industry, then obviously, the center will take that seriously as well, and then the state can implement a lot of ideas as well. So, just very recently, the state government has also done a wonderful job in at least in the tourism industry. There's been, within the department, there's been a segregation of jobs. Now we have a separate admin, we have separate, engineering section. Predominantly in the past, it was just engineering, and now we have admin, and we are hopeful that a lot of change will take place, and we'll see how that goes. And all the challenges that you said, it is very obvious that we've been facing these challenges right from the beginning, and that is up to the policy level. And when we talk about NH10, I think the Bengal side should be equally serious about building a solid infrastructure which is sustainable, which could last forever, because a lot of stakeholders, a lot of livelihood of the people depends on this NH10. So this is way beyond our talks here. It is for the governments to discuss this, but at least our people are very serious, because this has been raised over and over and over again. So in my opinion, there should be a serious thought given to it, and every person living across this belt, they should give a serious thought, because end of the day, the government will only do what the people say. So our people, rather than just sticking to their basic needs and their own self-vested interest, only doing things that would please them, I think they should look at the bigger agenda as well, about a vision for the next 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, and this is the lifeline. So there should be a permanent solution to it, I think, and this should be given a thought. So that is, I think that answers one part of your question. In terms of tourism, I think, now, is the right time, wherein there's a lot of entrepreneurs, there's a lot of stakeholders coming up, and they should give it a serious thought as well, because like I said, the government will only do what the people want them to do. So if, our stakeholders, our people are serious about it, when we talk about, when you talk about, in my journey about, trying to develop a new destination, and then we are trying to come up with a lot of new destinations in Sikkim. Now, people should be serious, because, as far as I know, people have not, we have taken a lot of steps to bring awareness of these destinations and the benefits of tourism. But it has not sunk in to the people, they are not very aware of what are the benefits it can bring, Either they are not aware of it, or they don't want to be aware of it. I'm still in a shock to know that, but slowly the younger generation, they have come to realize that it has immense potential. And now what we are doing, at the moment is we are trying to bring in new markets. When you said that, predominant the same market to the same circuit. So now we are working on different circuits as well, coming up with new destinations like Yangang, like Soreng, these are slowly picking up a lot of awards that is these destinations, emerging destinations are born. And now recently we have also tied up with organizations wherein we are trying to tap the Asian markets. So we are in the stage where we are just forming that network, and there's a lot of talks and discussions going on, a lot of meetings wherein we are talking with the Asian counterparts on how we can market the entire Northeast in the Asian countries and bring in tourists from the Asian countries to Northeast of India. And recently we had a nice event that took place in Guwahati, and met a lot of stakeholders there. We've been in discussion at the moment, and the future looks good, at least as per now.
That brings me to this question of Visit Yangang campaign. Something that I think you have been spearheading for quite a while now. Tell us a little bit about Yangyang and Visit Yangyang marketing campaign, which is something that I think you started a couple of years ago. How has been the journey so far? What is the kind of support you are getting, and do you think a lot of you also mentioned about Soreng, which is again I think it's a new destination that various travel stakeholders are planning to promote. I also see, I think the government really trying to push some major infrastructure work is going on. So there are two questions here. One is how important it is for local stakeholders to really be very passionate about, because I don't know how many people will be as passionate as you are so far as their destination is concerned. And second, does a place always need like big major infrastructure work to have really tourists coming into the place, into the district, into the town?
So when we talk about like place like Yangang, it's been over just a decade now, just crossing a decade that we started promoting. And if it came with a lot of challenges, a lot of hurdles, and obviously in a place, when you start a new destination, these were very relevant. It was due to come, and we faced that, but we never quit. We kept the campaign consistent. We had something in mind that we had to continue. There were big projects coming up, like the Great Baladunga Skywalk, the university. So that was a motivation for us. At least one day we will reach there, and we kept the consistency going. And finally, we have come to a point where, like I discussed earlier as well. When we started initially about 9 years ago, I had told in a general meeting that Yangang could be one of Asia's top destination, not just India. And now finally we can see that happening, with all the Asian countries like Malaysia, the engineers from Malaysia who's doing the Skywalk project. Now they are supporting, the movement as well. And we see a lot of, stakeholders supporting this movement as well, because they equally want new destinations in Sikkim. So, that is helping. And places like Soreng had always been there. Now there's been a little further push in that. And we can see that growing, emerging as a nice niche tourism destination as well. But like I said, like we discussed earlier, Sikkim has a lot of potential. It has the potential to become one of the top high value tourism, like the Bhutan model. And that is what we should be pushing, and we've not been doing that. Or a lot of people are not aware of that model as well. And I think, more than ever so, the government should be pushing that model, because we don't want, the mass tourism, Sikkim, for that matter, like Darjeeling as well, it has its own uniqueness. And that, the high value tourism is of utmost importance. So that is the plan, and that is what we've been doing for the last few years at least. We've been discussing with a lot of stakeholders, and that is what we want to push.
So Robin, we did touch upon the concept of high value, low volume tourism model. We definitely see some of the northeastern states trying to market the destination in such a way that they basically attract certain kinds of tourists. But when you see a place like Sikkim, where your tourist destinations, which have been popular for several years now, like you have the Gangtok, the same Instagram worthy places, the Rumtek Monastery, and so many other places, right? The MG Road and things like that. And then you have the North Sikkim, Lachen and Lachung, which pretty much have been targeting the similar kinds of tourists for several years now. these destinations are perceived in certain way because it has been there in the tourist map for several years. Is it possible for the government, for tourism stakeholders to really promote this destination in a different way now, or is it too late? That's two. This also means that you have a learning experience when you are trying to promote these new tourist destinations like Yangyang from South Sikkim, and you have Soreng. Do you think that on a policy making level, the government and the people involved should have certain strategy so that they can really promote the destination in certain way where they can attract the kind of tourists that they want? What is your say on this?
Um, I'm sure that from the traditional method, like from my past experience and from what I've heard from the industry people, these places have grown organically in Sikkim. There was no promotions. Even for that matter, even to this day and age, I don't see a lot of promotions, but taken seriously in a place like Sikkim. So that is something that needs attention. Promotions, marketing, sales. These are, the core of our tourism industry, and we've been advocating for that. That these things should be taken seriously, and I'm sure with the right strategy, even places like Gantok, North Sikkim can be marketed in a different way, and obviously that will involve a lot of training with the stakeholders as well. It'll be a mission for that matter, but it is not impossible. So that can be done. That is number one. And when you talk about new destinations that are emerging, I think this is the right time that the government should step up, the departments should step up and start positioning. And we need professionals, professional help. We need professional people to come in and start discussing about how we should position these new destinations. And I'm sure with the way the Bhutan model has been working wonders for them. Obviously, after COVID, it has been a little bit slow, but now when I've attended a few of the meetings, they have a solid strategy now again to bring back tourism in the scene. And similarly, in that same manner, I think we should also be very, very serious. Our stakeholders should also help in this mission. They should also be serious, and there should be a lot of discussions taking place. And with all this, I'm sure we can bring back tourism in places like Sikkim.
Going back to what we discussed some time ago, I think the state, Sikkim, didn't have like a marketing and an administrative department for tourism. It was the engineering cell, like you mentioned. Do you think that the state or the government has been already happy with the volume of tourists that was coming into the state? Because at a time like this, when the world is so connected, we millions of people are on Instagram and YouTube and social media platforms. How do you basically promote a space or a department or an industry without really having a dedicated team? I think if any state in the country, or especially when you look at other northeastern states, how Nagaland or Arunachal Pradesh or even Meghalaya, even Manipur, these places which were at some point of time known for Naxalism and insurgency have some of the biggest annual calendars now. Nagaland has the Hornbill, Arunachal Pradesh has the Zero Music Festival, the Mechuka Festival. We don't see this sort of a big calendar events happening in Sikkim. We did see a few in the last 1 year or maybe a little more than that. So maybe the government, do you feel that the government was kind of a little slow or late to join the race of really being passionately marketing the state and the destination?
So like we discussed, the change that has happened, because the tourism department was dominated by the engineering cell. Everyone is aware of that. And now the segregation has taken place, and it's too early to comment now. Of the strategies that they are taking. I'm sure they are coming with a lot of strategies. We are yet to see the result, but very hopeful that a lot of changes will take place now that the department has been segregated. So of course, places in the northeast like Meghalaya or Arunachal has been taking dramatic steps, to increase the tourism footfall in the states, and Sikkim has been doing their part as well. We need more involvement, like I said earlier, not only from the department and the government, but from the stakeholders as well. We need more discussions, we need more brainstorming sessions, more help from the stakeholders. We need serious stakeholders who really want to, take this profession forward. And once we start getting, serious stakeholders who wants to take this industry forward, not only get into government jobs, not only get into politics, then I'm sure at one point of time we will see the change taking place. It might take a little while, but now we are seeing the changes because I've been working in the rural space as well in Sikkim, and wherever I go, a lot of people they know me through tourism, and they are serious about it. So I'm sure slowly but surely this change will take place. At the moment, we are still in that phase where we want to see tourism to be taken seriously.
What do you think? I mean, while we are at this, let me ask you this as well. What do you think is stopping more and more young population to actually take up tourism as a career? Maybe involve themselves more in this space. And why do you think people are still wanting to get into politics or get into government job? Maybe is it because you have less number of success stories coming up? How successful are you as a travel entrepreneur? Is it something that would you like to tell your son to pursue travel?
No, for that matter, I think business, being an entrepreneur or being a businessman is an amazing thing. You have all the independence, you take all the decisions by yourself, and any day, being rather than being a government employee, I would choose to be a businessman. And I don't know how do you measure success, but I'm satisfied, being a businessman, and more than being a businessman, I advocate for certain things like sustainable development, and I'm happy with that. So moving forward, when you talk about inspiring others, or motivating others, I would wholeheartedly say to the young population that they should take up entrepreneurship, they should take up businesses seriously, because everyone is aware in place like Sikkim, the government jobs are at the saturation point. So they should come up with new innovations, new ideas, go out of the comfort zone, go to places, across the country, maybe abroad as well, if they can, and, work day in and out, day in, take the odd hours off, start working hard, because without hard work, you can't really talk about success. So, my message to them is they should be ready for that hard work. Government jobs, like you said, why they have taken government jobs, why they have taken politics, it's the easy way out. It's always been the secured one, where they see, this has been the easy way out. But when you talk about businesses, I've seen a lot of people failing in it. And then they opt for this, the easy route. But the reward is amazing, and we are starting to get results now. There are a lot of entrepreneurs who have proven themselves as well, So
Robin, while we are at this, so that means, somewhere we would like to see more success stories, coming up from this space, because that would possibly inspire the person next, because he looks at you and then he say, okay, Robin is successful, I am able to sustain my life, my family's life doing this, when you don't have that, there is that bottleneck, there is no motivation for that person to do, right? So I wouldn't know this many entrepreneurs who would be so successful, who would have that sort of a success story. But if there are, do you think? I think it is also their responsibility, collective responsibility, to possibly form some sort of a, mentorship program, some sort of a program where there is some sort of a support system, because I think that is one of the biggest problems with not just us but with the whole education system. We are not taught entrepreneurship. We don't know how to run a business. We are educated, but we don't know how to set a business, how to be successful in that. And the water is even murkier in a place like Sikkim when you don't have so many success stories coming up, right? So do you think there is a pressing need of government, of these entrepreneurs, to come up and set up some sort of a system where they could support young entrepreneurs who are trying to possibly find their footing in travel space?
Yeah, so to answer that question, I think entrepreneurship is very new in Sikkim, and the hills as well. I think everywhere, that is why we don't have that success, the amount of success stories. Of course, there are a lot of, when I talk about even the travel industry, I have seen drivers, who have risen from rags to riches. These are the success stories, but which is not out, in the market, because no one has, brought up that stories in the market. But I have seen it with my with my affiliation with them. I've seen a lot of drivers now. They have a fleet of cars. They have taken few hotels on lease. So these are the success stories that needs to come out. But then, like I said, entrepreneurship is still new, and people who've been doing this are not even aware that they are an entrepreneur. They've just been consistently doing that. So I think you have answered that question yourself as well. There should be some kind of a policy, a model where we encourage these entrepreneurs, the upcoming entrepreneurs. So at a policy level. So at a policy level, if something is built up, and I think there has been a lot of center schemes as well, but maybe it has not reached everyone, but I can see that slowly a lot of people are tapping on those schemes and coming up, especially the Northeast has a lot of schemes, and moving forward, I think we should take these schemes seriously, and like you said, form an organization and take it forward. So too early, still too early to bring up success stories, but a lot of things are happening. Yeah, like I said, a few could be the torch bearers for this, kind of new entrepreneurship and way of living.
That reminds me then, Robin, when you are talking about policies, when you were talking about certain privileges, central government, I'm sure, comes up with a lot of policies that are exclusively meant for the Northeast or maybe for the Sikkim, so then distribution and making people aware of those programs become more important than ever before, because how does a general public otherwise get to know get to know about those programs? So do you feel the state government is also now doing enough to make people aware of those subsidies, maybe of those special programs that they are they have the privilege of, to basically avail, do you think the government is doing enough?
So there are departments, not only the state department, but central departments dedicated to bring awareness. And they have always been doing that part, I can't say that they have not been doing their part, because I could see they're coming and begging, youths to come and be a part of this scheme, learn more about this scheme. But, like we discussed, our youths are focused. The focus is on other things like the easier methods. So, I think our youths have to take entrepreneurship more seriously. They should dig in, what are the schemes available and chase after that scheme, because it is not only the responsibility of the department or the government to come chasing after the youths, but the youths has to go chasing after the schemes as well, because I myself was involved in a lot of this awareness program as well, and I could see that not a lot of youths turned up. Even for now, when you have skill development programs, we don't see a lot of youths getting involved in that. So like I said earlier, our youths have to be involved. They need to take up businesses, they need to take up entrepreneurship seriously. That should be their focus. And once you are serious, I'm sure they will be one of those success stories that we are discussing about.
We spoke about some of the new destinations, Robin. I do see that a place like Yangyang will definitely be in the tourist map because of the Bhaledunga ropeway, which already made it in the news. I mean, it's been covered pretty much by all national newspaper, international news media. You have the Skywalk project, which is again going on right now, but in a year or two it's going to get over. So this definitely is going to put Yangyang in the tourist map. But do you think this infrastructure work is enough for, say, tourists to come? And I mean, there's no doubt people will go to Yangyang, but will it not be like just touch and go? Do you not feel that I mean, there should be other sorts of experiences? Or I don't know if Yangyang has other sorts of experiences as well, where you possibly make people stay there for like a couple of nights, because at the end of the day, how does the community get benefited, right? I mean, they get benefited only when you have the tourists staying there for a night or two or three, right? So if you don't really, really integrate storytelling into your marketing effort, how does people get to know the other beautiful experiences that these places have? They just get to know the ropeway and the skywalk, and what happens then? You just go experience those places, and then those experiences, and then go. You possibly go and stay overnight at Gangtok.
So, like you rightly said, Yangon is coming up as one of the major, mass tourism destination, and that will happen whether we like it or not. We are afraid that over tourism might happen in places like Yangon, and which is not good for the destination. And we have held a series of discussions and talks regarding mass tourism that is going to take place in places like Yangon. That is one of the reasons, we've been really advocating, we've been really pushing on high value tourism, where we bring out that exclusiveness in the tourism space. And, we really want, tourists who really wants the immersive travel, the slow travel, to come and enjoy not just the skywalk, but the entire, destination. We want them to be a part of the family, wherein they can come in every year and spend the holidays with us. So the effort is there, and we've been pushing for that kind of. But yeah, of course, we need more marketing campaigns to do that. We need more storytelling. We need more influencers to come in. And at a good time, we've been discussing this with a lot of people. And like I said, we are trying to introduce new markets, the Asian markets, the high spending clients from abroad, not just from India. And with that, if we are able to open up these kind of markets and premiumize the destination, if we can bring that premium experience and raise the tariffs, I'm sure a lot will be segregated in the tourism industry as well of the state. And that could help in the sustainable development of the place as well. And with that, I think we will be able to retain. So we are working tirelessly right now. A lot of discussions with industry leaders from across the country is taking place, wherein we are trying to retain guests at least for 2 nights or 3 nights in places like Yangon, in places like Soaring, new destinations, and not let it go as just a touch and go destination. So a lot of series of discussions are taking place, and we should see the results in the next few years at least.
Again, coming back to the marketing effort and the way the tourism department have really been promoting state. I was in Baigune recently, very close to Jorthang, and till that point of time, I mean, till 2 months ago, I didn't know that Baigune could actually be accessible, could be accessed from Darjeeling as well. Now, Baigune is, I think, just very close to Gangtok. I think it's just 1.5 2 hour drive. So, I mean, somewhere, do you think that, the marketing or the tourism department should really try looking at, because if you talk about NH10 again, it's going to take a while for to be, for the state to be really confident that, that the road is going to be accessible throughout the year. But then when you have alternate roads as well, if a place like Begune could be connected from Darjeeling, why don't we market the destination in such a way that, people who are going to Darjeeling, because Darjeeling is open throughout the year, around the year, so you could also pull in certain kinds of maybe tourists from Darjeeling. They could come to Begune, maybe go to Namchi. Again, Begune is very centrally located as well, close to Namchi, close to Peling, again close to Gangtok. So there is definitely a dearth of information. People don't know a lot of information. I don't know how many travel agents across, because travel agents again become a very important part of your resource, right? Because they are the ones who are sending, tourists throughout the year. So sending them that sort of information also then becomes very important.
Yeah. So there are two major, routes that we've been trying to push forward, and we've had series of talks with industry leaders, with travel agents, tour operators. One is the North-Southwest corridor, which connects North Sikkim to West Sikkim via Yangang and Timi and Rabangla. So that route was never explored in the past. So that could be a game changer for the tourism industry of the state. We've been pushing for that. And the other one we had series of talks about was, a collaboration with the Darjeeling, and open up that route that opens, Darjeeling, and from Darjeeling you come, to Jorthang, and, like you talked about, Baigune, West Sikkim, Soreng. So even when NH10 is affected, at least the other route is open to get the entry for tourists. So this has been in talks for some time now, at least, and hopefully this will be taken seriously, and we could see that promotions taking place very soon. So very hopeful on that.
Again, on this note, so I think it's more important than ever before to be talking about this kind of things, because we see that Sikkim definitely has a lot of new MLAs who are so young and so so passionate about those travel destinations. We were sitting with the MLA of Soreng, and there was this another gentleman, I don't remember his name, again very young MLA, who is in the politics. I think they would understand the importance of promoting this destination in certain way more than ever before. So again, to corroborate, I think this is the time when more and more travel stakeholders should really come, because they you have those political leaders who really understand your language. So maybe you list down 5 things, for the people who are listening to you. What should motivate them to basically pursue travel? If you really have to convince them, there has to be certain success stories. Unfortunately, there are not so many. What do you think you should do to advocate this, propose, basically?
No, like I said, the success stories has not been brought to light, but obviously I have good friends who are a success story, and they have done wonders from the tourism industry, and maybe we can talk to them a little bit later, bring that to light as well. So money definitely is one big motivation, because the amount of money some people have made through travel is just amazing. So that could be one of the biggest motivator. Secondly, the independence of owning a business, which is a very prestigious business as well. Travel industry, you get to meet so intelligent travelers, tourists, all the top tech entrepreneurs, and the top techies from Hyderabad, and doctors, engineers, and all the businessmen. So exchange of ideas that we've been getting. So these are the kind of things. I don't want to list 5 special ones, but it's a prestigious industry, and one of the reasons why they should take up tourism seriously is because this is the only industry left. Like I said earlier, agriculture used to be our priority industry, and it is not anymore, and I don't see a lot of young generation taking up agriculture very seriously, although there will be a few who will take, and I hope so they do. But tourism is one industry where everyone can be a part of it, and if taken seriously, they will build a beautiful career out of it, and which could be sustainable as well. So I'm sure a lot of people watching this will take tourism and hospitality industry seriously in the future as well. And you touched base upon young leaders. Yes, obviously there are a lot of young leaders, and there are a lot of aspiring young leaders. I am very hopeful that they will also take these spaces like tourism industry seriously. And like I said earlier, they will only do as much as the people ask them to. So as long as our youths are taking entrepreneurship seriously, as long as they are aware of their rights and responsibilities, as long as they are pushing their MLAs to do what is right, I'm sure the young leaders know their job, and they will be taking up this kind of initiative seriously. So it all depends on what the people want.
Robin, talking about your place, your town, Yangyang, it's a small little town, which obviously has this major infrastructure work going on right now. I think the Sikkim University is coming up. That only means that the place is going to open up, more and more people going to come and stay there. But then again, you have a state like Sikkim, which is so rich in culture and diversity, right? I think there has to be certain amount of awareness amongst the travel stakeholders as well, to educate people, who are coming from different parts of the country or abroad or other countries, who have no idea about the cultural richness of these places. Because I'm talking about this because I remember chatting with a young girl who was pursuing her master's in Lepcha language, which I don't know how many people will even know that there is a language and script on Lepcha. There is a script on Lepchas, right?
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
So that means people are, you have this whole population which is who are extremely, proud of their culture. How do you ensure that this does not get diluted, when you have people coming from foreign land?
Great question. When you come from a tourism background, you will be made aware of the sustainable development initiatives and the goals. And one of the most important aspect of tourism, is tradition and culture. So only if we take tourism industry seriously, we can safeguard this, the tradition and culture of Sikkim. So that is one of the ways we can promote our destination. So, the more we promote our tradition, the more we promote our culture, the more tourists will get attracted, because, tourists will come to see, these are the things that tourists will come to see, There are a lot of places, not only in India, but across the world, which is as good as or even better than Sikkim. Why would they come to Sikkim? It is because of the uniqueness of this, the tradition and the culture, because it's only confined to that place. So the more we promote tourism, the more this tradition and culture will be safeguarded. So that is a great way of safeguarding the tradition and culture, if that answers your question.
Right. Okay, I think last question to end this, Robin. I know you are extremely passionate about your destination, but if you were to, basically share some stories about maybe a place like Yangyang from South Sikkim, or even Soreng, which is a new destination that's coming up from West, few things that you could possibly, talk about, that would possibly interest this Bangalorean or somebody from Delhi, or maybe someone from the UK or US to come and see the place. What are some of these places that I could possibly come and see, because I don't have a room tech ministry. I don't have something like, like a fancy infrastructure right now, So what do you think should pull in tourists to these places?
So I think, we have been promoting the slow tourism movement of both the places, because whenever a tourist come to places like, Sikkim, although, the popular destinations like Gantok, North Sikkim. North Sikkim is fantastically, it's rich in, in nature, and then Peling, again, we see the Kanchenjunga and, it is famous for that. But places like Yangang, Soreng has not been explored. It has not gone to the market. It has not been promoted very well. But it holds a lot of potential in terms of immersive travel, the slow travel movement, the regular lifestyle of the people, and the rural scene of Sikkim. The beauty of Sikkim lies in the rural areas. That's what we've been promoting, for a long time now. And of all the people who have been to places like Yangang and Soreng, they have loved it. You can see a few, travel magazines that has covered our story, and the tourists that have been to places like Yangang, they are mind blown. They have, they were willing to talk about it, and you can see in the reviews that they were mind blown of the beauty of this, the slow travel movement that we've been trying to promote. So apart from just the mega structure, which is the Baledunga Skywalk in Yangang, there are a lot of beautiful spots, and the lifestyle of the people, that the tourists should be interested in. So here I'm not talking just about the regular tourist who just wants to go to the popular destination. Here I'm talking about travelers who are really looking for that authentic experience, So if we have that kind of travelers, they should come to places, rural places, not just Yangang and Soreng, but the entire state, the rural areas of Sikkim holds that, potential. And once they start going to these places, sooner or later, I think they start developing fondness for the place and the people. And that is the reason I think, they should be going to these places rather than just sticking to the regular spots.
Wonderful, Robin. I think it's been a great experience chatting with you and getting to know a lot more about yourself and about how passionate you have been in this space. Wonderful, Robin. It's been a sheer pleasure chatting with you. Thank you so much for taking out your time, coming here and chatting with us. I'm sure our viewers have a lot of things to take back from this conversation.
Thank you very much. This was long overdue, and finally we made it happen. So I thank the entire team of Beyond the Talks for making this happen, and I'm confident that the viewers will enjoy this kind of episodes, and I wish you all very best.